Good morning, my friends. My name is Lama Jigme Gyatso, the Rational Contemplative. This is the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditative Musings. I'm terribly excited. This week I have been invited to teach at a recovery retreat. Looking forward to that. Yesterday, while scrounging up a ride to the event and back, I posted on a Facebook group. Someone wrote me back, not offering to give me a ride, but giving me unsolicited advice on what I should do my talk upon and what I should research prior to the talk. And that is, of course, in harmony with conventional wisdom. But there ain't nothing conventional about the wisdom attributed to Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. For in that text, that treatise, if you will, we're taught of the dangers of planning things out. There's nothing wrong with reading and learning and entertaining deep thoughts. But when we plan for something in the future, number one, we are leaving behind our awareness of the present moment. Number two, we are assuming that things are going to be in the future someplace else exactly as they are, or as we think they are, right here, right now. In an ever-changing universe. That's a huge mistake. In a universe full of intergalactic interdependence. Huge mistake. There are more factors than we can possibly hope to control. Well, that is why it is taught in the Tao Te Ching, and I will paraphrase, do not try to take the master carpenter's place. If you use the master carpenter's tools, odds are you'll cut yourself. Now, this is a metaphor. It's not saying, listen, there's a God and you need to fear him. If you want to go that way, there's plenty of fundamentalists who can hook you up. But what it's saying is, don't play God. You can't do it, you're underqualified, and you'll probably hurt yourself and others if you try. What then should we do? Well, the answer is hinted at in the 15th chapter, where we are asked the rhetorical question, can you practice patience? Can you sit and wait for your mud to settle, for the waters to clear, and for the answer to arise on its own? Notice it doesn't say, can you sniff out the answer like a basset hound on a trail? No. I love basset hounds. I don't want to be one in this context. It talks about it as the centered state, giving rise to spontaneity. So there's two types of spontaneity, as I've mentioned before. The spontaneity from chaos, after a night of drinking, the spontaneity says, hey, let's go piss on a cop car. What could go wrong? And then there is centered spontaneity, where that we don't chase, that we don't seek, that just comes to us and flows, dare I say, through us. When we make ourselves or choose to be centered vessels. Some would say, ooh, that's because God is working through you. Oh, his Holy Spirit. Ooh, ah. Well, that's cute, but it's not what Lao Tzu had in mind. Einstein himself taught that genius was the blending of both intellect and imagination. One is very active, one is spontaneous and passive. when we apply, it's been my experience, when we apply the ideas in the Tao Te Ching, our brain works the way it was supposed to work. And things flow the way they are supposed to flow. I think it's the 3rd chapter of the Tao Te Ching where we read, practice not doing and everything will fall into place. It's been my experience, the most empowered moments of inspiration, ask a writer, ask a songwriter, they'll tell you, are not sought, they arrive on their own. It's been said by some teachers that good fortune is the intersection of preparation and opportunity. So by practicing the meditation instructions in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, by living in harmony with the ideas in the Tao Te Ching, we prepare. And then we just flow and dance with the opportunities as they present themselves. I remember at my late mother's funeral, and of course, she better be late, because to bury your mother alive is just poor manners. At my late mother's funeral, I was supposed to talk about her. And my sister's rabbi pulled me aside and he asked me, have you written something? And I said, of course not. That's not my path. And then at my mother's funeral, he chose to chastise me for not obeying his instructions. Well, needless to say, I walked up to the pulpit in a centered state and flowed. And it worked wonderfully. Our job is not to be polished, perfect, and precise. Our job is to be authentic, spontaneous, and consequently, wait for it, effective. It's been my experience that the effectiveness that comes from centered spontaneity is of the highest order. And that, my friends, is all you get today. Quick reminder, the Friday series of weekly meditation classes, either over your webcam or in person here in Palm Springs, begins this Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. If you want to participate, then register using the links below. Don't worry about a fee. It's gratis, thanks to the generosity of patrons. And if you want to become a patron on Patreon, that you can do so for as little as $1 a month. And really, who can't afford that? May you and yours be healthy and happy. Bye-bye now.